Okay, snow plowing accounts. This is what I do. Now, once upon a time, I had a bunch of apartment complex parking lots, and the people never bothered me. I always showed up when I was supposed to. My trigger point was 2 inches. That's the norm in my area. Some people go to 3 inches, but my trigger point was 2. Anytime it dropped 2, I go. So I stayed up on them. They got rid of the last people because they would plow the lot and they'd push the snow off to the outsides, but they left it in the lot, in the corners. Well, as more and more snow fell throughout the winter, they had nowhere to put it, and the lots got smaller and smaller. They lost parking spaces. I never did that. I push it to the edge, I lift the blade, and I push it back up into the grass a little bit. As it gets colder through the winter and the ground freezes and hardens up, it allows you to push it further back, because now you can drive up over the curb a little bit into the grass and you're not going to leave ruts. So they kept me for years, and I raised my price up a little bit, and I decided they were just taking up too much of my time, and then I couldn't get them on board with salting. They were not in a very good neighborhood, so I knew that it was mostly Section 8 stuff, and I knew that it was only a matter of time somebody was going to slip and fall and sue the crap out of me, because I had just plowed. It's different depending on where you go. They say that if you plow commercially and you offer salting, snow melting service after you plow, because it leaves that slick glaze across the parking lot, and they don't want any of that service, you need to make them sign a waiver saying that you are responsible for any slip, falls, liabilities, insurance, motor vehicle accidents, anything caused by not allowing the contractor to use ice melting material at his discretion. Something along those lines, which I have made people sign in the past. However, depending on where you're at, sometimes that doesn't matter. You can take that into court, and a judge or a decent lawyer is going to find their way around that, and it ain't going to matter anyway. And it doesn't matter that they signed it. You'll still, as a contractor, be held liable. Some areas, a judge will be like, you signed the paper. It's not his fault, and you're good to go. But that's going to depend on how much of an expensive lawyer you can afford. Is that really where you want to go with that? So I got rid of it. It was a bad neighborhood, and I knew eventually somebody was going to sue me, and I couldn't even. I tried giving them salting for damn near pennies. I mean, I was making very little profit on the salting. I would have been, and they still wouldn't bite. So I decided this year I was getting rid of them, and I was going to keep one commercial parking lot that lets me salt at my discretion. They know I'm fair, I'm honest, I don't screw them, I don't salt when I don't need to, and I just took on a lot more driveways, which for my truck, being a half-ton truck, that was the way I wanted to go anyway. And I may even go a different route next year with the equipment. That's all to come in future video. I haven't made the decision yet. But, so, you need to decide what's viable in your area. Are you looking to get into large commercial? Are you going to take on like Best Buys, Rite Aid, CVS, grocery stores, places like that? Or do you want to just stick to like small commercial, like maybe a bank parking lot, a post office parking lot, a little cafe, a little diner, a little breakfast place, whatever, just small commercial type stuff. Do you want to go that route, or do you want to go large commercial? That's where, like I had mentioned before in the first part of this series, was that determines the type of equipment you need as well. Me personally, I stick to my one commercial lot, and the only reason I'm even doing that lot is the furthest thing away from my house right now out of all my accounts, and it's still only like 15, 16, 17 minutes away from my house, but it's the furthest away. And the only reason I have that is because I do their mowing and their landscaping, and they pay me very well, and they are very good to me, and I love the mowing account. It's the only reason I'm keeping the snow plowing. I don't want someone else to come in and take the snow plowing and then say, hey, we offer lawn services too, and I get booed out of the whole account. So that's the only reason I still keep that commercial. Other than that, it's all residential. Now, this is how I price my residential. It may be, it's going to be different for every area. You know, depending on where you're at, and you need to know your market, the going rate for your area. It is what it is. What I do, and a lot of times they tell me I'm more expensive than a lot of other people in my area, and granted I may be, but I don't care. My price is my price. You guys have heard me discuss this in videos before, and my opinion on competition. I'm in competition with nobody, myself. I set goals for myself every year. I try to meet them goals. I don't care what the next guy's charging. I don't care if he got more than me or less than me. I know my numbers. I know where I need to be, and I know how much money I need to make it worth my time. So roughly in my area, this is how I price. If you have a driveway that's 1 car width wide but 2 to 3 long, $25. 25 is my minimum. I don't go below 25. There's guys in my area that plow driveways all day long for $10, $15 a driveway. Let them do it. I don't care. I don't want it. If I'm getting out of bed in the middle of the night, I'm getting paid. So 1 car width wide, 2 to 3 long is $25. If it's 2 cars wide and 2 deep or 3 deep, at least $30. And it just goes from there. There's a big factor is, can I put snow where I want to put it? That changes everything. So what I do, a lot of driveways I do, they have big open yards the sides of the driveway. The majority of guys in my area will pull right up to the garage or right up to the end of the driveway, drop their blade, back blade that out, do that like 2-3 times to get all the snow out. Then they'll back up on the road and then they'll push it up off to the side. That's a pain for me. I don't have an extremely heavy blade in my truck because it is a 1/2 ton. So a lot of times when you're pulling back, that blade will start to ride up on that snow, especially if it's a heavy wet snow like we get a lot of in this area. It's a lot of lake effect snow. So it's like the heavy wet mashed potatoes. You don't get too much of that powdery snow, which everybody wants. It's the easiest to push. Excuse me. So what I like to do is I like to push it in. I'll push in and I'll turn off to the right. Just before I hit the edge of the driveway, I start lifting the blade. It takes experience. I've been doing this a long time. I can feel that blade. I can feel when it's near the edge of that driveway. And I know all my driveways well enough, and new ones I'll go out and stake them if I don't know them. So I use those guides and I lift up, and I almost never, ever tear up a blade of grass. You'll see it scraped clean to where there's just green grass off the edge of the driveway, but I don't lift a blade of grass or any dirt, nothing. If I do by accident and it pulls a little bit up, I go back and fix it in the spring for free. It is what it is. But I almost never do. So if I can push it and then push it up into their yard, that's your price. If you start telling me, well, no, you know, I want the snow put over there, or you got to pull it out each time, but I need it pushed over there. I don't want any snow over here. Make sure that, you know, you clean all that out, but make sure you widen the driveway out. But even though you widen the driveway out near the road, I need it pushed back. I need it pulled away from that side and all of it put over on this side. You can't just push the openings of the driveway each off to the side. It's all got to be over on this side. Your price is going up. It's either going up or I'm going to tell you, I'm sorry, I can't do your driveway. You know what I mean? It's 2:30, 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, and I'm plowing. I want to get in, get that driveway done, and get out of there. I want it done as fast as I can. I'm going to do a great job. It's going to be more than easy for you to get in and out of your driveway, no restrictions, but I want to do it my way, okay? It's just how, there's no highway option. It has to be my way. I'll give a little bit, and I'll work with the customer, but if they start getting extremely anal where I can put this snow, and only in certain places, if they say it's all got to be there, I'm like, oh, okay, that's no big deal. It's easy to put it over there. Fine. Then your price is what it is. But if I'm like, oh my God, over there is in between this tree, this set of bushes, you can't push snow up against the bushes because it'll kill them. And how am I going to squeeze in there and get it? Your price is going up. Otherwise, I'm just not going to do it at all. I'll refer you to somebody else and down the road I go. So that makes a big difference on pricing. I offer 2 different ways for my accounts. As far as pay goes, I offer a per plow price where at the end of each month I total up how many times I've been there. You get an invoice for that much. Or I offer a seasonal price. So a lot of guys in my area, the norm is your season contract price is November 1st to April 1st. Well, this is Western New York. It can and it will snow in April. It happens. If you don't like the weather in New York, give it 15 minutes. It'll change. It's just how it works. So I don't do time limits. I charge a little bit more, where somebody will charge $350 for a season, I'll charge $400. But I make it very clear to them, there is no time limit. If it snows, I will be there. My trigger is 2 inches or 3 inches or whatever I tell them it is. As soon as it drops that amount, I'm out the door. And I go through it. If I got to come back through again, I go through the whole list, and it's snowing so hard that they're filling back in, and it drops another 2-3 inches. By the time I'm done my route, I'll start at the beginning, I'll go through them again. If you're on a paper plow basis, you may get hit for 2-3 plows in one day. That's how it works. It's just how it goes. Some people are like, nope, I'm fine with that, and they gamble it out, which I think is fine. The pay per plow, it keeps money coming in every month, but it's completely fair. I'm only getting paid for the work that I do. Now, when you do a contract, somebody's getting screwed. That can only go one of two ways. Either you're getting screwed as a contractor, or the customer's getting screwed. It's the only two ways it can go. Because either it's not going to snow barely at all winter, and you made a ton of money for doing nothing. Or it's going to snow like crazy all winter, and you got paid one price for doing a lot more work than what you bargained for. It's the only way it's going to go. And if you decide halfway through winter, oh my God, I'm losing money, I'm going to have to go to the customer and tell them I need more money, well, guess what? They're going to be like, I don't think so, pal. Or they'll be like, well, okay, we'll figure it out. I'll kind of give you a little more. We'll work something out. And guess what? You're never plowing that driveway again. They're not going to take you on next year. And they're going to tell everybody and their brother exactly what you did. And word travels fast, especially in small towns like where I live. Everybody knows everybody. So you got to price it right. You got to figure what's what. Make it worth your time. Just remember, 9 times out of 10, it snows at night. So you're getting up in the middle of the night. Most of your plowing will be done at night, and you're going to be out there, and it's going to be cold, it's going to be nasty, it's going to be crappy. You're going to have to do stuff like I showed in, I think, part 1 of this, where you got the squeegees, and you're going to be cleaning your windows because glass cleaner just doesn't work, and you can't use paper towels, and it's nasty out. It's all this stuff you have to deal with, so take all that into account. You're going to have to, if it's a driveway that has a turnaround, a center median, and it wraps this way, and wraps that way, and you got to pull from here and push over there. Remember, you're doing all this at 2:30, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning, and there's times where I've been in my truck for 3 days straight. Never got out of my truck for 3 days. The only time I step out of that truck is to clean the windows off, to reload the salter, to put fuel in it. I'd stop at home, my wife would refill my thermos with coffee or have a sandwich for me. I'm right back out the door and I'm going. Because if you let them build up to 6, 7, 8 inches a foot, now they're twice as hard to push. It's taking you twice as long to clear these lots or these driveways. You're beating on the truck twice as much because you're working everything a lot harder. So you don't stop. You plow with the storm and you keep going until it's done. And that's just how it works. So you got to take all this into account when you're taking on contracts. If you want residential, residential only. If you want some residential and then a couple small commercials, or if you want a bunch of small commercials and only a couple residential, if you want more big commercial, you want to stay away from the residential. You just got to remember, with commercial businesses, you need to know when they open. If you have 5 parking lots to do, and they all open at 8 o'clock, but their first employee gets there at 7, you need to have every one of them lots clear and safe by 7 o'clock. How many trucks do you have? How many salters are you running? If you have multiple trucks and you have guys running them, can you rely on them employees? Are they going to get their butts out of bed at 2:30 in the morning? You call them at 8 o'clock, like, listen, we're supposed to get a bunch of snow tonight. I need you awake at 2 o'clock. Be awake at 2 o'clock, set your alarm. I'll call you by quarter after and tell you if we're going out. If we're going out, you're out the door. You need to know they're going to get up. They're not going to go out and get all shit-faced the night before and not wake up to their alarm. Or they're just not going to wake up in general because they know it's colder than hell out there and they don't want to go. You need to know. And if that happens and you have another truck that's running, they're responsible for 3 lots, you're responsible for 3 lots, and all of a sudden they don't come in, you're responsible for 6. You have 6 lots to do before they open up. If they don't open up, you may not get fired from that account. But if that lot's not clear and their first employee gets there and slips and falls because you didn't open it as per your contract when you said it was going to be open and salted, guess what? You're going to court. That's how it comes down. So you need to take all into account, figure out what you want, figure out the going rate for your area. I can't tell you what to charge. The prices I just gave you, roughly what I would charge for a driveway, I can't tell you that that's what you should charge. I don't know your area. People may be getting a lot more in your area. I have customers here that have moved here from New Jersey. Their driveway here is twice the size of their driveway there. The one guy, I'm charging him $40 a shot to plow his driveway, and he says, "That's all you want?" So what do you mean? I'm actually tight on space, and it's probably $5 higher than I would normally charge for a driveway this way. To be honest with you, I'm not gonna lie to you. It is what it is, man. I said I'm sitting right about $40 a shot. And he goes, man, I paid $65 a shot for my driveway in New Jersey, and it was half the size of this driveway. You're doing the same thing. You're plowing the lot, or you're plowing the driveway just like I'm plowing the driveway. But that's New Jersey, this is Western New York. See what I mean? So I can't tell you what to charge. You know, you got to figure out what the going rate is in your area, and base it off of that. So that's my bit on accounts, whether you want residential, commercial, small commercial, big commercial. Figure out what you're going for, what your ultimate goal is, base your equipment off of that, and go from there. You're gonna make mistakes. If you're just getting into snow plowing, you're gonna lose money. It's just like starting off mowing at first. You know, you're gonna lose money. You're gonna bid things wrong. You're gonna make mistakes, but you learn from it. You know, when I started off plowing snow, I remember I told this one guy that he wanted to know how much plowing driveway. I said $20 a shot. That's what I'll plow your driveway for. He says, okay. That freaking driveway took me forever every time I went to plow it, because I didn't take into account, okay, my plow is now sticking out another 5-6 feet further than my truck. You know, it's getting in there and trying to turn my truck and the plow to get to these certain areas, and to pull the snow back from places where I couldn't push it up into, and then turning, pushing. Oh, it was such a pain in the ass. But you know what I did? I finished the season. I didn't go to him and say, hey, listen, I made a mistake. I need to charge more money. I stuck to my word. Excuse me. I gave him my word. That's what I was going to plow for. I wasn't changing my price. I did tell him at the end of the season, I said, listen, you're going to be at $35 a plow next year. Just want to give you a heads up now. That's what's going to be. I underbid this. I had a heck of a time this winter, and it was just a mistake on my part. I underbid this. He said, why didn't you tell me you needed more money? And I said, because I gave you my word. And I wasn't going to go back on my word because I screwed up. Gave you my word. I bit the bullet. Is what it is. And he said, I respect that. I respect that. That's integrity. That's integrity, doing what you say you're going to do and sticking to it, even if you're taking the short end of the stick. He said, you don't see that much anymore. He said, great. You know what? That was the first time I'd ever worked for that guy, was snow plowing. I've been mowing his lawn ever since. That was 4 years ago. Five years ago. I've been mowing his lawn ever since, and plowing his driveway ever since then. I don't see that customer going anywhere. And it's because he respected me for that. So, I mean, you're going to lose money. You're going to screw up. It is what it is, but you know, in other areas you're going to make out. Like I was charging, I told some people, you know, $30 for a driveway. I was in there in 3 minutes. You know, it's $10 a minute. I was doing great on those accounts, so they kind of balance out the ones I'd screwed up bidding on. But you're going to learn, you know, and you're going to take all into account, and you're going to figure it out. But that's my bid on accounts, and hopefully that part helped you. I don't really know where I'm going to go into from here. I think I said I was going to touch on insurances through here. That's just, you know what, I'm going to add that in right now. That's going to be a very brief, quick thing. I've had insurance from the get-go. I know a lot of guys start off and they go through their first year and don't get insurance, but it takes that one time. Shop around. Shop around. Find an agent. Don't just go to a insurance place and say, I need insurance. Find an agent. My insurance agent deals with multiple insurance companies. They deal with Progressive, Erie Niagara, Utica First, Prudential. They deal with so many different ones, but I deal with him. He finds them. Okay. I had this snowplowing company, or this insurance company. There was insurance for my business. I paid $648 a year. It was my first year in business. Halfway through the winter, they told me they were canceling me out because they didn't support red business practices. That's what they call it, red business practice. I got the letter. I called my agent and go, what in the hell are they talking about? He said, well, apparently they dropped snowplowing. They don't cover it. A lot of commercial insurance companies for businesses will not cover snowplowing. I didn't know that. It's a very common thing apparently. So they decided they weren't doing it anymore. Well, they dropped me halfway through the winter. So halfway through the winter, I didn't have any insurance, and I had 3 commercial lots at that time. Well, they considered it a red business practice because they don't cover it anymore. So, is the way they termed it. So anyway, he scrambled around to find me another insurance company. I got this company called Erie Niagara. They're local, but they do cover wider areas. I don't know if they do multi-state or what. Either way, they offered me more insurance. They covered a lot more stuff, and I paid $100 more a year for them. So they covered all my snow plowing, all my landscaping. They covered all my equipment, which the other one didn't cover any equipment. Only covered liability if I damaged somebody's property throughout the year, mowing, plowing, whatever. And twice the insurance. Now I'm on my phone. See? There's my GoPro that I've had set up this whole time, the Sessions, and I've had it on my TV on the tripod thing. But it just died. So I'm going to finish it up on this. So I got a lot more out of that whole bid insurance by switching companies. One thing I did not know is your insurance is based largely off your credit score. So every year since then, he's told me, he goes, I'm gonna run your insurance again. I'm gonna see what happens, see what I can get you if I can get you a lower rate. And the first year I said, why would you do that? And he said, well, your credit score changes. It changes all the time. So he runs it once a year to see if he can find me better rates. I didn't know that insurances are based large portion off of your credit. Even your driving, like your auto insurance is based 75% off your credit score, 25% off your driving. That's ridiculous. I never knew it was like that. I didn't have a clue at all, but that's insurance. So anyway, it takes one move, and it could not even be your fault, and you are screwed. You are screwed if you don't have that insurance. And it's cheap. Like I said, have them shop around. In some places it's more expensive, but you know, it's cheap when you compare it out. I'll give you a quick example, and I'm cutting this video. I had this lady that asked me, this older lady asked me if I'd come and plow her driveway, and I'd done it a few times before. I'd done some mowing for her, but she wasn't a regular customer for snow plowing. When I offered it to her in the fall that year, she said, no, I'll call you when I need it. I'm like, okay, whatever. And so she had a bunch of snow built up in front of her garage. Well, she called me and asked me to come and plow. Well, I told her, I said, it's going to be a couple hours before I can get there. I'm in the middle of all my other accounts. They got to come first. They were already on the list. So I go there to plow it, and I pull in, and I hit the brakes, and I went right into her freaking garage door. I blew the wall right in, the man door. I was doing like 5 miles an hour. I was barely even moving. Well, apparently she was in a big hurry to get it melted out in front of her garage door, and she went out there with her hose, and she sprayed the whole area down. Well, it turned into ice, and it was still snowing, and it snowed on top of that ice. Never saw it. If I didn't have insurance, even though she did that, I'd have been screwed. We put a claim in on my insurance, and it covered it. But, and my insurance rates did not go up, surprisingly. I really thought they would. They didn't. But that would have screwed me if I didn't have insurance. I'd have been in so much trouble. The money that would have cost me. I'd pretty much plowed the rest of that winter for free for everybody. But that's my bid on that. So, I'm not really sure if this is going to... I think this is probably going to be the end. This is going to be the last bit on this series. So I wasn't sure how many parts it was going to be. I think I covered everything that I really wanted to cover. There's so much more that we can go into with different things with snow plowing, things like that. But I think this... these few parts in this series covers the majority of it. So, I guess that's it for now. I think maybe eventually I'll do a multi-part series like this on lawn care, because I've been asked so many questions on that. But we'll see how this goes. We'll see how the views go on this. If there's a lot of people watching, there seems to be an interest for it, and I'll go from there. But so I guess that kind of ends it for this snow plowing, salting series, and I hope I've answered a lot of questions for a lot of people, and I hope that if you're deciding to get into this portion of the business, my videos will have answered a lot of questions for you and help you make an informed decision. I guess that's it for now. So good luck, and be smart about what you do, and don't listen to everything everyone tells you. Go buy brand new truck, brand new plow, brand new equipment when you don't even have any accounts yet. You know, I'm not even telling you have to listen to me. You know, my way is not always right. It's not always wrong. It's just what I do and what works for me. So good luck to you, like I said, and make the best decision based on whether or not it's for you.